Once again, doing another phone review. I posted this up on Twitter, but in case people didn't see it, basically what happened is on Friday, um, my computer crapped out on me. A long story short, I basically had to restore my computer back to its factory settings, losing a bunch of stuff in the process. One of the things that I lost was the review that I was going to do on Friday. I was actually going to review Batman White Knight, the newest issue. Uh, but yeah, I lost that, so I gotta do another review for today. And I don't feel like doing Batman White Knight again, like another review. Not that I didn't like the issue, I actually really enjoyed it. It's just that the review was like super long, and one of the things that I lost was my video editing software. So hopefully I'm gonna try to get that up today. But in case that doesn't work, I'm basically just gonna upload straight from my phone to my YouTube without any edits, which means that I got to get this review in under 20 minutes. So I'm not gonna be able to pull that off with Batman White Knight because I can talk forever about that. So instead, we're gonna do another True Believers, Venom versus Spider-Man, which is actually, as you can see, it is a reprint of the 300th issue of the Amazing Spider-Man. This one's done. Well, the art's by Todd McFarlane. This came out in 1988, so this was what, 2 years after I was born. So this was before I got into reading comics. So this is my first time reading this issue. Um, but yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man, uh, issue number 300. So we start off with Mary Jane really frightened. Um, and basically she is scared not of Peter Parker but of the outfit that he's wearing, and the reason why is because in the previous issue I'm assuming that Eddie Brock as Venom attacked her, so now she's like traumatized. um, so basically she tells Peter, like, we can't stay here in this room anymore. Like, she's like completely freaked out. So Peter's like, all right, I'm gonna go pack my belongings. I'm gonna go pack our belongings, and we're gonna go stay at a hotel for the night. So then we cut to Brock entering his apartment, lifting some weights and all that stuff. Basically talking about how he's gonna kill Spider-Man. And then back to Peter Parker in the hotel. Mary Jane sleeping in the background, and then we kind of get basically just a catch up of what's been going on, about how Spider-Man got the symbiote, the Venom symbiote, while on a planet. Which, okay, for the longest time, I always thought that the symbiote was brought to Earth by damn it, what's his name? That astronaut guy who I think was he dating Black Cat? I think he was dating Black Cat at the time. He was dating, yeah. He was dating Felicia. Um but that's because that's the origin for Venom in the Spider-Man animated series, and then I believe Sam Raimi also did that for Spider-Man 3. I don't know, I haven't seen Spider-Man 3, but I have seen the trailers. But yeah, for the longest time, I never knew that Spider-Man actually went to another planet and then discovered the suit. I always thought it was basically the suit kind of like stowed away on a ship that was coming back to Earth, and that's how it, and then it eventually found Peter Parker and took over and stuff like that. But I guess, yeah, in the comics it's actually a different origin story. But yeah, so we get that, and then we get, if anyone remembered my review from last week, where Peter Parker realized the suit was taking him over, and you went to the Fantastic Four, specifically Reed, to use like this gun, this sonic gun that would separate the suit from Peter, which worked. And then Peter, the suit came back, tried to take him over again, and then Peter was able to get rid of it with the church bell. So yeah, we get that, and then Mary Jane wakes up, And then we get some super sexy fun time. Like no joke, yeah. So I every time when I was reading this comic, I just felt so sad. Like I love these two together, and now they're not anymore. And it's just like, why, Marvel? Why did you do this? Why did you have One More Day happen, and then even after like the fallout for One More Day, why did you keep it canon? Why couldn't you just like, I don't know, have made it like an alternate universe or something? Ugh. Like I really wish that they would go back and just retcon One More Day. Just have someone like just be like, yeah, that whole One More Day never happened. So let's just keep going. Because the whole thing doesn't even make sense. Peter Parker would not. It's not in his character for him to literally make a deal with the devil to turn back a day so he can save. Well, I mean, I know he would do anything to save his family, stuff like that, but he wouldn't make a deal with the devil. Plus, the whole thing's like, you're gonna get rid of the love of your life just so you can have Aunt May, who's already like 1 foot in the grave, live for just a little bit longer. Like, come on, man. Yeah, Mary Jane basically tells Peter that that she's made some calls and that they're gonna get this new condo, and it's like basically super expensive area. And meanwhile, Mary Jane wants Peter to take some pictures of it so they can get like, before and after they move in. So Peter uses that excuse to go get a sonic gun that he can use on Venom. He gets the message from Aunt May, basically asking to come to dinner, and then Peter's like walking down the street when he sees when he gets the instinct that someone is like following him, so he ducks into an alleyway, and then leaves. So then we cut to the new loft where Peter goes and starts taking photos, and then basically Mary Jane's like, like, why don't you quit being a photographer for the Bugle and become a fashion photographer instead? And basically we get like a little playful moment where Peter's doing quote unquote fashion shots using Mary Jane as the subject, and then Peter's like, man, I'm just not cut out for this, and then Mary Jane decides to basically help lighten the mood by taking off her clothes and how about taking some snacks for our private collection. Slowly Peter's spirits begin to rise. I bet that's not the only thing that's rising. So yeah, yay, they have sex again. It's like we get a loving husband and wife. Like, why can't we have that in the new series? Why? Come on, Marvel, please. And like I mentioned it before, like now that Bendis is basically gonna fuck over Superman. I bet you anything, Bendis is gonna fuck over Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Like I'm scared that he's gonna do that. But we have Dan Slott now in charge of Iron Man, which Mary Jane is now part of that series. I'm so scared that he's gonna pair Mary Jane with Tony Stark, and if that happens, I'm done. I'm done with Spider-Man. You've already cucked him out enough, but to literally have Mary Jane like sleep with Tony Stark, if you do that to Peter, I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not gonna support any more Spider-Man. I'll just stick with like Reprint and stuff like that. Back when they were a loving couple and the series was awesome. So yeah, well, then we get to Peter and Mary Jane at May's boarding house, and they're having a nice dinner. And basically, Mary Jane confronts May about how she's been keeping her distance, and Aunt May says like she's not doing it on purpose. She's just she wants the marriage to work, and she knows that there's a lot of couples that split apart due to nosy relatives who try to run their lives for them. So then Mary Jane's like, you're not nosy. Like, we know you care about us, blah, blah, blah. And then we get some tender family moments. Something that we haven't been able to see in Marvel lately. DC has been doing a good job with it. I've actually gone around to I don't want to say like rating, but well, I've read a little bit of Super Sons. I did read a no, not Spider-Man, Superman, where I think it was like the 4th of July one where he was like they went on a road trip, him, his son, and Lois Lane, and basically like we got like a sweet family moment. So it's like if you want your family moments, you got to go to DC now. Well, that is before Bendis will most likely screw that up. Um, so then we cut to Eddie Brock in a church, and he basically kills a guard. And yeah, I guess that scene was just to show how evil Brock is. So then we cut back to the new condo where Mary Jane has her friends helping pack the place, and what is up with this dude's hair? like the fashion and all that. This is like classic, especially right here. This is classic '80s. Even though I mean I wasn't really around for the '80s, but I've seen a lot of stuff there. Okay, I don't know who this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be, I guess, some uptight rich dude who has a. I mean, he has Jeeves carrying his stuff, the stuff for him. So I'm assuming he's like some rich guy. As soon as I saw this dude, I thought Matt Murdock. Like I really thought this was Matt Murdock before I started reading, and I was like, oh, okay, Matt Murdock doesn't seem like the type to go around and have his butler like do his chores for him. But yeah, I don't know. Like, doesn't this kind of look like it looks like Matt Murdock? I was like, Daredevil? What's Daredevil doing helping Peter Parker move into his new apartment? So yeah, Peter's outside talking to Robbie, and he notices Venom swinging by, and basically Peter Parker makes an excuse to leave and chase down Venom, and he chases him down into his Eddie Brock's apartment, where we get a pretty cool badass scene. Here we go, the classic scene where Venom now mentions what his name is. He's, you may call me Venom, for that's what I'm paid to spew out these days. I'm your victim, Spider-Man. I'm the innocent you ruined. And then Venom reveals that it's Eddie Brock. And we basically get Eddie Brock's story where he was a reporter. He was a pretty good one. There was a series of murders by someone called the Sin Eater, and Brock got an exclusive on the identity of the Sin Eater, and did an article about it. And basically, he was pressured into revealing the Sin Eater's identity, even though he promised the Sin Eater that he wouldn't. But Eddie Brock ended up doing that. But then it was revealed that the guy who claimed to be a Sin Eater was actually a phony, and that the real Sin Eater was a policeman named Stan Carter. And he says that was how long it was before you revealed who the real Sin Eater was. Thing is, at this point, I don't know if Eddie Brock is referring to Spider-Man or to Peter, because I mean, it seems like Eddie Brock, due to this issue, doesn't know about Spider-Man's identity. But then at the same time, it's like Eddie Brock targeted Mary Jane. So he knew, and then later on in that one scene, he was, right here. He was like following behind Peter Parker. So I'm assuming he knows Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same people. How he found out? Actually, yeah, he probably would have known because the symbiote would have told him. So what the hell am I thinking? So yeah, basically Peter Parker, Spider-Man revealed who the real identity was, and Eddie basically became a laughingstock because, he exposed the wrong person as being the real killer. So Eddie Brock basically was fired, and he had to write a bunch of exposés and tabloids and all that stuff just to make ends meet. He decided to bulk up because exercise is supposed to reduce stress, but it didn't work. It just made him even more angrier. And then eventually he was going to commit suicide. But since he was raised Catholic, suicide is a mortal sin. He decided to go to every church in the city and basically beg for forgiveness before he offed himself. And as he was begging in one of the churches, the symbiote found him and took him over. And this, I'm assuming, yeah, this was the church where the bell towers. So yeah, basically we get a fight scene. Pretty cool. I'm gonna try to do this real fast because I only got like 5 minutes left, and I'm like maybe halfway. So yeah, get a cool fight scene. Peter is able to use a sonic gun on Eddie, but the venom only leaves very temporarily. It doesn't even completely leave him. It just kind of goes away from him for a bit before it comes back, because the symbiote has fully bonded with the venom. Spider-Man goes to leave when Venom basically wakes up and webs him back and knocks him out. Spider-Man wakes up tied up in webbing to the bell tower. And basically the Venom's plan is for the giant bell to crush him. But Spider-Man is able to fight through the webbing, and then he stops the bell and basically almost breaks his arm. And then he decides, I can't use my power to get through the web. The webbing is too tough. So instead, I'm going to use my power to stick to the ball and have the ball's momentum as the ball is swinging out to pull me out with it, which it does. And then Spider-Man basically realizes that the webbing that Venom is using isn't from a cartridge. It's actually from itself. Like the symbiote is using itself and transforming parts of itself as webbing, and basically regenerating itself. So Peter comes up with the plan to basically drop Brock and have Brock constantly use his web to prevent himself from falling. And as he keeps shooting his web, Peter's going to keep cutting it, eventually to the point where it will use so much of its webbing that it becomes weak, and it works. Brock collapses, gets knocked out. Peter takes Brock to the Fantastic Four, where the Thing keeps him contained. I don't know why. It's kind of funny seeing the Thing wearing a pajama robe with the cutesy little animal stitched in on the side. Peter arrives back at his apartment, where Mary Jane is upset, but she's not upset at Peter for doing his superhero things. She's basically upset at the suit. She doesn't like the suit. The suit, every time she sees a suit, she just remembers how terrified she was when Venom attacked her. So Peter, being the loving husband that he is, doesn't question it. Basically completely understands why, and he strips his black suit off, tosses it in the fire, and Mary Jane pulls out the classic costume. And then, basically gets naked and they bang again. And then that's how it ends. So yeah, we get more sexiness between the two. Oh man, Peter's just getting so much action in this issue. But yeah, I miss them as a couple. Why did you break them up, Marvel? I mean, they're literally, Peter Parker and Mary Jane are literally the #1 comic book couple. I mean, way more than Superman and Lois Lane. Even though I mean that's an older couple. I think Mary Jane and Peter Parker are more, I don't know, they hold more of a soft spot in people's hearts, and they're more iconic as a couple. And it's just, why would you break that up? I don't understand it. But yeah, I mean, now in the new issue, he's what Mockingbird, and he's just basically a cuck. Oh, that's another thing. So, okay, where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah, it was here. Okay. So, one thing that Peter Parker is upset with is the fact that Mary Jane makes so much more money than him, and he wishes that he could help pay some of that back. Because like she's basically the one paying mostly for the condo, not him, and she decides to cheer him up with sex. And it's like, meanwhile, in the new Spider-Man, where he's dating Mockingbird, he's living in her apartment, and basically she's like, this is my apartment. You just kind of happen to be here. He sleeps on the couch. Like, why would you give up Mary Jane? I mean, not only is she hotter, but I mean, just the fact that like how sweet she is, where she doesn't rub it in his face that she makes more money than him. And if anything, like when he feels a little bit down about that, not because like he wants to make more money than her, but he wants to like help pay like for some, like he doesn't want to feel like a freeloader. Mary Jane decides to cheer him up, and like with some sexy time. So like, why would you want to give up her and then go to Mockingbird? Like seriously, like I don't know. Yeah, this issue, just as awesome as it is, it just made me hate the new Spider-Man even more. And I know a lot of people who's like, well, check out Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider. I don't want to. Until Mary Jane and Peter Parker get back together again, I don't want to read any more Spider-Man issues. To me, it's just not the same. I grew up with Mary Jane and Peter together. I want them together. So until that happens, I'm just gonna stick to the old comics, and I'm not gonna read any new Spider-Man until that happens. Hopefully soon. Who knows? But yeah, that was True Believers Venom versus Spider-Man, which was actually Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm starting to run out of time, so I'm gonna end this here. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.